Michael, give us Michael, give us Michael, give a smile. Give us Michael, give us Michael, be the reason someone smiles. Give us Michael, give us Michael, give us Michael, give a smile. Give us Michael, give us Michael, be the reason someone smiles. Give us Michael, give a smile. Give us Michael, give us Michael, be the reason someone smile. Give us Michael, give us Michael, give us Michael, give a smile. Give us Michael, give us Michael, be the reason someone smiles. Simcha, Gedola, Leo, Leo, the Simcha. Simcha, Gedola, Leo, Leo, the Simcha. Simcha, Gedola, Leo, Leo, the Simcha. Simcha, Gedola, Leo, the Simcha. Simcha, Gedola, Leo, 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 the Simcha. Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Simcha Gedola, Leo the Simcha. Simcha Gedola, Leo, Leo the Simcha. Simcha Gedola, Leo, Leo the Simcha. Simcha Gedola, Leo the Simcha.
Breakfast with Elli.
Mode ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechazarta bi nishmati b'chemla raba emunatecha.
It's called Onik Shabbat. It's very much, it has to do with the Friday night table, having friends and family, students around the table, and some magic always happens. I can be nervous beforehand and think, how are these people ever going to talk to each other? How are we ever going to achieve any kind of Shabbat atmosphere? And my skepticism is overridden every time. But every time somehow something very beautiful happens. And it has to do with people being willing, even though they don't know each other all that well perhaps, being willing to open themselves and to talk about rather personal things around the table, and singing the Zmirot, singing the songs. And there are the Shabbat lights shining the whole time, all the way through. There is this sense, again, of a combination of the spiritual and the physical, good food, good atmosphere, and a sense that this is the day in which God rested, and we are resting in the most meaningful way.
Ay, 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 good Shabbos. Ein da Laila, ein da Laila. Ay, 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 Shabbos Kodesh.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Elli. It is Friday, the 23rd day of August, the 19th day of Ab. The Torah portion is Eikev, HaYom, Shishi, the Shabbos, the 6th day. Counting up towards Shabbos, we learned the 6th Aliyah. In New York City, you will light Shabbos candles tonight at 7:23 p.m. I know it's getting so early. 7:23 p.m. and Shabbos will end at 8:23 p.m. tomorrow night. So 7:23, 8:23, it's on your screen. It'll be there the whole program. So you don't have to worry. If you forget, you can look it up again. And of course, it's posted in all the right places. All right. All right, fantastic. So we've got Shabbos coming up. Shabbos is Chaf Av, the 20th day of the Hebrew month of Av. Besides being the birthday of two of my children, I know, isn't that cool? Besides being the birthday of two of my children, it is also the yahrzeit of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's father. I know, it's important. It is. So, that's what I wanted to say. And we will talk about all of this coming up right now in Breakfast with Elli. Let me just do this over here. All right, just a quick thing I got to do. There we go. And one of these. Okay. And one of these. All right, hold on 1 second. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know I don't like to do this, but I have to get this out of the way really quick. All right. Let's begin. Men and boys, take your two front sitzes. We'll make a bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit.
Right. Al divrei Torah. Oh, my button's not working. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah.
All right. Hareini mekabel.
Hareini mekabel alai mitzvat aseh shel ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
All right. Torah Tziva.
Ay Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha keilat Yaakov. Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha keilat Yaakov.
All right. Time to give tzedakah, first of all.
I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
Tzedakah is so important. Tzedakah tatzum min lavis. All right, you've given tzedakah. And now we will go on to say the Holy Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuso Le'olam Va'ed.
Shahakalniye bidavoy, shakalniye bidvoy.
All right, fantastic. Oh my goodness, I love it. Oh yeah, I decided to bring that back. That's nice. There we go. All right, we've got the Parsha Times video is back. That's cool. All right, Shahakol. We're making a bracha Shahakol. Having breakfast this morning. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Here we go. Ready? Shahakol. Borach ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Shahakol nihiyah bidvoroi.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way.
All right. Fantastic. I know CJ loves the coffee song. What's not to love? All right. Fantastic. That takes us today to today in Jewish history. And it's a big one. All right. Where is it? Where's my today in Jewish history, boys and girls? What'd you do with today in Jewish history? Where'd it go? All right. Well, we have this, and this have been printed out so they can go away. All right. Here we go. Today, Friday, the 19th day of Av. It is the yahrzeit of the evening of the yahrzeit of Rabbi Levi Yitzchak. It is also the yahrzeit of Rabbi Yaakov Kuli. Born in Jerusalem in 1689, Yaakov Kuli moved to Constantinople in Turkey, where he found adequate facilities and financial backing to publish the scholarly output of his learned grandfather, Rabbi Moshe ben Chaviv, including such classics as Get Pashut and Ezras Nashim. The young, brilliant scholar quickly came to the attention of the chief rabbi of Constantinople, Rabbi Yehuda Rosnes, the undisputed leader of Sephardic Jewry at that time, and Rabbi Kuli was appointed to the Beis Din, the rabbinical court in Israel, in Turkey, rather. Upon the passing of Rosnes, Rabbi Yaakov edited and published his late teacher's writings with his own additional glosses called Mishla Lemelech on Maimonides' Mishnah Torah and Parshas Drachim. Toward the end of his own very too short life, Rabbi Kuli began working on Me'am Lo'ez, From a Nation Until Strangers, a compendium of rabbinic lore and commentary on all the books of the Torah. He wrote in Ladino, which was then the common language of the Sephardic diaspora. Unfortunately, he never completed the project, and he passed away on the 19th day of Av in the year 5492, 1732, having only completed the book of Breshis and most of Shemos, Genesis and Exodus. However, subsequent scholars used his extensive notes to finish the work. Popular to this day, I read it all the time, the Ma'am Lo'ez has been translated into many languages, including English, Arabic, French, Italian, Chinese, and many, many other languages. I think that is absolutely fascinating. On this day tomorrow, for Shabbat, the Zohar was published for the very first time. The fundamental work of the Kabbalah, Jewish esoterical and mystical teachings, authored by the Talmudic sage Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, was printed for the first time in 1558. And as we said, it is the passing of the Rebbe's father, the yahrzeit of the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Schneerson. He passed away in 1944. It is the, I believe, 81st yahrzeit of the Rebbe's father. He passed away in Alma-Ata, Kazakhstan. He was the chief rabbi of Yekaterinoslav, which is today currently Dnipropetrovsk, and was arrested and exiled to Kazakhstan by the Stalinist regime as a result of his work to preserve Jewish life in the Soviet Union. The Rebbetzin Chana's diary, his wife's diary, includes the entire account of her husband's heroism, his arrest, his passing, the years in Alma-Ata, and everything that went on subsequently. It is fascinating, fascinating, fascinating reading. So let's start with a couple of videos to mark the occasion.
This Tehillim belonged to my husband of blessed memory. I sent it to him upon his request to his place of exile in the village of Shishi in the Republic of Kazakhstan. Rebbetzin Chana writes, "If these pages would have a mouth and a tongue, they would have a great deal to tell. Each and every page was constantly soaked with tears and was wet from them. From the day that he was arrested and jailed, his physical strength changed for the worse by the day. His spirit was strong. It was very difficult to hear the cries coming from the depths of his heart and from his broken heart that was more troubled by the lack of spiritual life than the troubles of simply starving without bread to eat and other terrible living conditions. This book was with him until the day of his passing. His strength was diminished, his body racked with pain, but his spirit was strong. He was a leader and a living example for the Yidden across the entire Soviet Union. Until his final day, he was Moser Nefesh, so another Yid can know, feel, and live a Jewish life. On 20 Av 1944, after 5 years of exile, suffering, and illness, Harav Levi Yitzchak returned his neshama to its creator, and he was buried in Almaty, Kazakhstan.
Here in Almaty, 10 minutes away from the oil of Reb Levi, we have a nice Jewish center, a place where everyone can come and pray and learn and give chinuch for the kids and to buy kosher meat and wine and everything that he needs for the Jewish life.
Я горжусь, что я еврей.
Это те люди, которые отдают свою душу и сердце для того, чтобы мы познали то, чего нам очень не хватает, познали Тору, которую здесь обучают.
И люди ходят сюда с большой душой, женщины и мужчины, и для детей здесь вот все сделано.
חב"ד בשבילי זה מקום שבו כל יהודי שיגיע לפה יתקבל באהבה.
Синагога для меня – это родной дом.
Here, in the very place where Harav Levi Yitzchak was Moser Nefesh for the spread of Yiddishkeit, the Rebbe's Shluchim are continuing in his way, spreading Yiddishkeit across Kazakhstan. On Chaf Av, during the Farbrengen marking his father's yahrzeit, the Rebbe asked that those who had merited to help his father during his exile should come up, receive mashke, and say HaYom with him, as an expression of his gratitude. The Rebbe explained, "Serving my father is really something that is my responsibility, so I wish to say HaYom with those who did so in my place." The Rebbe asked from the depths of his holy heart to donate to the Magbis in memory of his father and promised amazing brachas to those who do so. The Rebbe said they would be repaid from Hashem up to 500 times as much.
This is your opportunity to take part in the Rebbe's mitzvah of Kibud Av, in the Magbis Le'il Nishmas, the Goen, Chassid, and Mekubal Rabbi Levi Yitzchak.
Continue his legacy and develop Jewish life in the place where he was exiled, here in Kazakhstan.
Become a partner in the holy work and receive an abundance of brachas. L'chaim, l'chaim ve'livrocha.
L'chaim.
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 Zocken ben ik toch dan gewoon met alle l'chaim zong. Maar het is geen vredig. L'chaim.
Akarahut, akarahut,
All donors will be mentioned at the Holy Tziyun on Chaf Av. Donate now. 20av.kz.
All right, fantastic. Some Lubavitcher representatives visited the jail cell that Rebbe Leivik was in Almaty, in the prison there.
Давайте высовываем только. А можно вот я накрываю? Нет, да? Да. Нижний только. Так, отлично. Отойдите. Ну сейчас. Надо, чтобы он открыл.
Excuse me. Absolutely, I don't even know. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling that they could do such a thing to such a holy man. Craziness. Absolute craziness. All right. Here are the Rebbe's instructions for the day.
Anybody who did anything for Rebbe Leivik, anything at all, privately and only privately, the Rebbe acknowledged and thanked and was mekarev specially for it. Stiller reit, a nod. My father used to say, the Rebbe told my father every chof of to say l'chaim, a nod. Because my father also traveled a number of times to give Rebbe Leivik to machen the sof kochen for him, whatever the case was. Wie mishamish Rebbe Leivik. So, was darf mir nehmen davon? Never ever forget the hakoras hatev, to be able to say thank you properly. The avas reim that it builds. It's a lesson that we saw from the Rebbe all the time. The yashakeach, every time somebody poured a glass of water. His constant yachas to people like Reb David Raskin, that was mishamish Rebbe Leivik in his last half a year. I mean, the yachas was unbelievable. The Rebbe was miyaker, everything that David Raskin or Shalom did, because of mishamish in the taten. The Rebbe to helfen. Will sich etwas ablernen davon.
And we have to learn from it. Okay, that's it. There is a famous song attributed to Reb Leivik, and it goes like this. All right. Fantastic. This week we say chapter 5 of Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers. And in other quick news, just before we move on, the FDA has approved an updated COVID vaccine as health officials warn that another summer wave of infections. Moderna and Pfizer said the updated mRNA shots will be available in pharmacies and clinics in the few days coming. Given waning immunity of the population from previous exposure to the virus prior vaccinations, we strongly encourage those who are eligible to consider receiving an updated COVID-19 vaccine to provide better protection against currently circulating variants, according to Dr. Peter Marks, the director of the FDA Center for Biologics Evolution and Research. The prevalent strain in the United States is now the KP.3.1.1. It's estimated to account for about 37% of all cases over the past 2 weeks. That's triple its level a month ago, and that's why they're worried. Okay? So look out for that. You'll see it coming up, okay? And you know how I encourage you to keep going and to, yeah, all right? That's good. HaYom Yom for today, the 19th of Av, and for tomorrow, the 20th day of Av.
היום הזה הוא זמן שמחתנו.
The Torah is not just a rule book, a long list of do's and don'ts. For us, the Jewish people, the Torah is as essential as the air that we breathe. Once, a couple that was expecting a baby wrote a letter to the Rebbe saying that immediately upon the birth of our child, we intend to introduce the child to an environment of Torah learning and mitzvah observance. The Rebbe responded that even before the baby is born, the atmosphere in your home, the atmosphere of Torah in your home, can already influence the child. Today's HaYom Yom, it contains a beautiful Hasidic teaching, Hasidic interpretation on how the Torah is the eternal protector of the Jewish people throughout the process of life and death. Now, in the Shema, we read of the obligation to study Torah. B'shivtecha b'veisecha, when you're at home, you should study Torah. When you travel on the way, on your journey, you should study Torah. When you go to sleep, you shall study Torah. And when you awake, you shall study as well. Says today's HaYom Yom, the Hasidic interpretation of these words of the Shema, the inner meaning of when you sit at home. Here we're talking about the time before a child is born, when the soul of that child is up in the big garage upstairs. That's the place where the souls are all gathered, basking in the light of Hashem's presence. Even at that point, way up there in the heavens, the soul is studying Torah and being protected by Torah. When you go on your way, that journey, that's the journey of the soul's descent into the body and the journey of life. So here on planet Earth, we are to study Torah, and Torah is our protector. When you lie down, that means after death, when a person dies, the soul continues to study Torah. Uv kumecha, and when you arise, that means in the future, when there is the resurrection of the dead, we will again engage in Torah study. So it doesn't matter where you are in the great process of life, the Torah is always to be studied and is always our protector. It's been getting really, really hot in my home over the last couple of weeks because our air conditioner was dying a very, very slow death. Finally, it got to the point we realized we're going to have to install a new air conditioning system. So we called the guy in, fantastic guy, very, very nice guy, put in the new system. And then afterwards we were schmoozing and I asked him how long he's been in the business for. He says, well, first I started working for a bigger company, and now last couple of years I'm off on my own. I said, how is that? What was it like to change from working for somebody else and now running your own business? He says, well, I love the freedom, but it also comes with a price. That price is when I worked for the bigger company, did my job from 9 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then when I got home, leave all the work behind. I come home, mind is clear, it's all about my family and just relaxing. But now that the business is mine, I'm thinking about it all the time. 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter where I am. It could be in the middle of the night. I wake up for a couple of minutes and I'm like, oh, I just thought of a great idea of how to improve that system. Today's HaYom is about the meaning of true Jewish activism. You see, if you kind of are just an employee of Hashem and you can punch your card from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock and then you're done. So when you're in your off hours, it's just about you. But if you are a true activist and you really, really care, if Hashem's business becomes your business, now things are completely different. Now you could be walking down the street on your way to work or just doing your own personal thing, going about your own personal life. And if all of a sudden the opportunity presents itself for you to do something that will strengthen Torah learning, the learning of Chassidus, you'll grab it. So if you're you're walking down the street and you meet a friend, if you're a true Jewish activist, says, hey, this is an opportunity. I can talk to this person about getting more involved in Torah study. We can talk about doing a mitzvah together. I can invite this person over to Farbrengen. Because if Hashem's business is your business, then there's no downtime. You're never off. You're always on the job. Says today's HaYom, this level of involvement in Yiddishkeit, in Judaism, this level of involvement in strengthening Hasidic life is the responsibility of everybody. It doesn't matter if you're the great scholar or just a simple person. We all have to make Hashem's business our business.
All right. And that takes us very conveniently to a word from our sponsors.
PestProRidal.com, trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidal.com.
Tarzane Group, micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzanegroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565 and order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzanegroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids, beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign at gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications. Logos, wall hangings, Judaica. And you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Helping lots of people
any way we can. Tzedakah is the Jewish way to help your fellow man.
All right, fantastic. Patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, breakfastwithelli.live/new computer. If you would like to help us get to our goal of getting a new computer up and running so that we don't have these niggly little things that we're dealing with over here every day. All right, if you know somebody that's in a position to donate, or a fund or something like that that helps people spread Torah, please let me know. Refer them to us, and who knows, maybe there's a referral prize for you. All right, it is Friday. We are finishing up Rabbi Sachs' conversation for
Now, if you actually look at the Geneva Bible, you can probably see that round the edges are a commentary. Okay, it's a little commentary in Jewish terms, but it's a commentary. And there are few sentences in the Geneva Bible that are absolutely explosive. First chapter of Sefer Shemot. What happens? We have in Shemot, Pharaoh tells the midwives, Shifra and Puah, kill every male Israelite child. And what happens is Shifra and Puah don't do it. And Shifra and Puah are the first recorded instances of civil disobedience in all of history, refusing to obey an illegal order. You note what the Geneva Bible says. Their disobedience in this was lawful. They shouldn't have deceived Pharaoh, but it was lawful. Now that is explosive. It means if a king is immoral, you can disobey the king. And here, of course, the king comes along and says, well, in that case, everyone, you see a male Israelite child, go and drown it. And you see what the commentary says in the margin, when tyrants cannot prevail by deceit, they burst into open rage. Now, that was incendiary. That's exactly what kings did not want people to read. That's why King James made the King James Bible in 1611, and you will note, if you ever see a King James Bible, it has no commentary in the margins. But there it was. The Geneva Bible got out because of etc., and the result was, several decades later, the English Civil War in the 1640s, and the overthrow of the king, who lost his head as a result, King Charles I, and the victory by Cromwell, who was, of course, a Puritan and essentially a Calvinist. Of course, eventually the monarchy, England works by compromise, and you had the Restoration and the Grand Treaty of Rights in 1688. So this whole Jewish period, covenant period in English history, didn't last very long. However, another group had taken Tanakh with them, namely all the early settlers in America, starting with the Mayflower in 1620, and then the Arabella in 1630, and John Winthrop aboard the Arabella makes this famous speech, which is Devarim, chapter 30-31, in the original Hebrew and in English, making a covenant between the people and the new land of America. But of course, already in 1620, the people aboard the Mayflower made the Mayflower Compact, that is the Mayflower Covenant. So America was born in covenant. It was born by people who, because of printing, because of the Reformation, because of Tyndale, because of the Geneva Bible, all knew Tanakh, and they knew that when you want to create a just, fair, decent society, you have to make a brit with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you might have to make a covenant with God, and that is what they did. And that is why it had an impact in England until 1688, but then not much more. But in America, that culture, based on Sefer Devarim, lasted all the way from that day to this. And the end result was America is a society on whose founding document is Sefer Devarim. Incidentally, there's something very interesting here, because the modern world is made by four different revolutions. The English Revolution, the American, the French in 1789, and the Russian Revolution in 1917. And it is almost as if we have in front of us a controlled experiment in what creates a free society. In England and America, the revolutions were both based on Tanakh, on Torah, specifically on Sefer Devarim. In Russia and France, the revolutions were based on philosophers. The French Revolution based on Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and the Russian Revolution based on Karl Marx. Well, I think you probably know the story that the French Revolution ended in years of revolutionary terror, the reign of terror between 1793 and 1794, and Russia landed up under Lenin and then much more so under Stalin as the most repressive regime in the Northern Hemisphere in the 20th century. So, in other words, you want a free society, make sure your rebellion is based on terror. But now we come to the irony of all ironies. which is that in America they really understood. You want a free society, you base it on Torah, you base it on Sefer Devarim. Here, for instance, is the second president of the United States, John Adams, who comes between George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, and he writes to a friend, "I will insist that the Hebrews have done more to civilize men than any other nation. If I were an atheist and believed in blind eternal fate, I should still believe that fate had ordained the Jews to be the most essential instrument for civilizing the nations." John Adams, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all the way through to John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Barack Obama, and all the presidents in between understand. And now you see the extraordinary prophecy. 3,300 years ago, Moshe Rabbeinu said, keep this Torah carefully because this is your wisdom and understanding in the eyes of the nations. Do you know what? It was the wisdom and understanding in the eyes of the nations. This particular Torah became the basis for the American Revolution and remains so today, America, the world's single remaining superpower. Where is one place where the culture politically is not based on Torah? Sadly, ironically, the State of Israel. The State of Israel is built on a series of great ideas, high ideals. The early Zionists were inspired by Karl Marx, by Leo Tolstoy, by Friedrich Nietzsche. Religious Zionists accepted. The only person they weren't inspired by was Moshe Rabbeinu and his Torah. And so we have the irony that Moses already foresaw that one day the nations would understand the value of Torah in creating a society better even than Jews did. Frankly, that's not how it ought to be. And so we owe a great debt of thanks to the late Professor Daniel Elazar, who revived this whole study of Jewish political of Israel, and that is done by scholars today in various bits of Israel, most especially I think in the Shalem Center in Jerusalem, where they're taking this Torah and turning it into a political philosophy that will make Israel, I think, stronger as a society. But Moshe Rabbeinu already saw this. And I think we have to go back and hear his words again. Observe them carefully, for this is your wisdom and understanding in the eyes of the nations. The whole political vision of Sefer Devarim, a vision of social justice, of compassion, of human dignity, and love of the stranger, is as relevant today as the time when Moses first gave voice to it. Let us too be inspired by it. Shabbat Shalom.
All right. What a tzaddik. I miss him very much. Although I never got to meet him, I feel that I am connected to him through his Torah and through his connection to the Rebbe. So I do miss him. All right. In the sixth Aliyah, Moshe tells the Israelites that the land of Israel is constantly dependent upon Hashem for navigating and irrigating rains. And the land is constantly under Hashem's watchful eyes. We then read the second paragraph of the Shema prayer. In this section, we are admonished to observe Hashem's mitzvahs, which will cause Hashem to supply bountiful rain and harvests. Non-observance will lead to exile. We are commanded regarding prayer, tefillin, mezuzah, and teaching Torah to our children. Moshe informs the Israelites in the seventh and last Aliyah for this week that if they follow Hashem's ways and cleave to him, they will easily occupy the land of Israel and no one will stand up against them. All right, here's Chumash and Rashi with Rabbi Avtzon. And that takes us to Parsha Points with Rabbi Epstein is up next. Let me just get the computer queued. All right.